Hello everyone. Welcome to our video presentation on Keurig Dr. Pepper. We are Group 3, led by Natalie Gears and joined by Jared Gates, Brett Smith, and Nick Flipowitz. Please enjoy.
Keurig was founded in 1992 by Dick Sweeney, and he really wanted to revolutionize the coffee machine and what it could do. They quickly combined with Green Mountain Coffee, which was an already established coffee brand. Keurig Green Mountain quickly realized the potential of selling single-serve coffee pods and patented the famous K-Cup. K-Cups became a household staple by 2010, but their patent actually expired in 2012, so other brands could make single-serving coffee pods like the K-Cup. Keurig tried to get around this by only allowing the Keurig to use Keurig brand pods, but there was a lot of backlash. While Keurig was doing extremely well on their own, the merge with Dr. Pepper and Snapple was extremely beneficial to their company. The larger distribution network has allowed Keurig to expand beyond just coffee as they began to venture into the soda industry. In 2018, Keurig was forced into a settlement regarding their monopoly on K-Cups. Keurig actually purposely designed the Keurig to only read Keurig brand K-Cups, so no off-brands were usable. And now Keurig coffee makers are required to allow the use of off-brand coffee pods as well as reusable pods. The company has a very clear vision statement. It's to provide a beverage for every need, anytime, anywhere. And we can really see their vision coming to light as we look at them venturing into new markets such as soft drinks. Keurig's mission statement is actually to be a leader in the beverage business by providing high-quality premium beverages and innovative brewing systems that consistently provide a superior beverage experience. They truly want to be a leader in the beverage industry as a whole. They do not mention just the coffee industry, which is what they're known for, probably because they knew they wanted to branch out into different markets. Keurig has set some pretty big goals for themselves regarding the health and well-being of their customers, as well as an environmental impact. One of Keurig's biggest downfalls is the use of single-serve plastic, so their goal was to make K-Cups recyclable by the end of 2020. They unfortunately did not receive this, but they have set a new goal to have it done by 2023.
Keurig has a few major challenges that are facing the brand. Keeping K-Cups in the top-selling coffee companies like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts is the first one. Many people walk into these coffee shops and disregard them completely due to their inflated prices compared to the grocery store. The second challenge is targeting people who make coffee at home instead of buying coffee at restaurants. This is a difficult challenge that Keurig faces because of their many different types of consumers. Some consumers take pride in making their coffee at home or having a daily routine that includes making coffee in the morning, while some consumers make it a part of their daily routine to stop at a coffee shop in the morning. Keurig needs to establish in the mind of consumers that their coffee is better than chain or coffee. To reiterate, Keurig also faces the challenge of their antitrust suit that was against them in 2019. They were accused of making the market of K-Cups non-competitive by only allowing their machines to take K-Cup brand. Other companies could not create cups that fit into the Keurig coffee machines. The fourth challenge is maintaining the market dominance that they already hold. Maintaining this dominance is important so that loyal customers continue to buy their products in the future. Keurig holds market dominance in single-serve coffee machines because of their patented K-Cup. Other industry competitors have begun to make types of single-serve coffee machines. In 2012, Keurig faced the challenge of their patent becoming expired. In 2015, just before the holiday season, Keurig launched the Keurig 2.0. Growth declined from 2011 to 2015. Since then, growth has increased along with their sales.
For the industry analysis overview of the coffee industry and a subset, the single cup brewing, the coffee market is very large and encompasses coffee shops, various at-home methods such as regular pot brewing and single serve, bottled coffee drinks, and much more. Some brands such as Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks have an advantage being in multiple of these subsets, but for Keurig, they only occupy the at-home space. The market is continuously growing for coffee, and actually over the next 5 years is projected to grow faster than normal. This can be contributed to the low barrier of entry in the coffee market and ease to get into the space, as well as some of the new trends that are going on with coffee these days. When it comes to the industry life cycle of coffee, coffee in general as a whole is in a maturity stage, like previously stated. It's just continuously growing slowly, but the single serve pod brewing is still relatively new, even though it's been around for a few years now, and is still in the growth phase. It's projected to definitely stay in the growth phase for another 5 to 10 years, and then slowly transition into a growth/maturity stage. For level of competition, for most of the industry, there's a high level of competition, as there are a lot of different coffee producers, a lot of different brands for at-home brewing, such as traditional brew, and there are a lot of different coffee shops, whether they be local or like regional or national chains. For the single cup brewing, however, there's low level competition, as only a few major players hold a majority of the market share. The primary rivals of Keurig and other single cup brewing are coffee shops, as they're new, trendy, and offer a wide variety of drinks and a place to gather with friends or business meetings, or you could just be in and out very quick with a cup of coffee. Traditional at-home brewing is pretty much a mainstay in American homes, as it offers the ability to make multiple cups at once and different brew strengths, something that most Keurig models do not. Nestle Nespresso is the only company we named by name, as they're a big prominent brand with a lot of brand recognition that is also in the overseas market and makes a very comparable product to Keurig. Tea and energy drinks are two substitutes that we named, as they offer the same quick pick-me-up as coffee, but they do offer different tastes if coffee is not for a specific person and they would like something different. They're easy to grab. A porter analysis of Keurig showed us that the high intensity groups are substitutes and buyers. Substitutes, like I just said, are very easy to grab. It's a very quick decision with coffee to have coffee or something else. So that's why it's a very high intensity to grab the individual and have them choose coffee. And then buyers, it's obviously the buyer's final choice on what they want, and they can obviously be very convinced to not have Keurig coffee and something else instead. The ultimate consumer for Keurig and other single pot brewings are someone who values the ease of use and conveniency of the product, and not necessarily the superior quality of the coffee. So moving into the issues, threats, and opportunities of the industry, when conducting a pest analysis, the key factors that we found were that the amount of waste from these types of products. In 2015 alone, there are 15 billion K-Cups produced. That is only from the Keurig name and no other companies in the market, and that was in 2015. So you can imagine how much more those numbers are inflated and how many of these K-Cups are in landfills. Second is the health concerns with the products, and whether or not the K-Cups are BPA free, and how will that affect the future health of people who drink the coffee. And lastly, the fair trade coffee movement, which a lot of companies now are moving towards making sure all of their coffee is fair trade and ethically grown and purchased. And then the threats of Keurig. A few years back, the patent on the K-Cup itself expired, meaning that a lot of other companies can now imitate the same technology and make their pods directly compatible with the Keurig machines under private labels such as, Great Value and such. Another threat is other reputable small appliance companies imitating the technology of Keurig. One company such as is like Ninja, that has a very high quality product and their name carries a lot of weight, that they can move into the coffee industry and probably have a sizable market share right away. Some opportunities for Keurig are, like stated before, they can make recyclable and compostable K-Cups. Over recent years, most K-Cups are now recyclable, but the goal would be to make them all recyclable. And years down the line, and I believe it's 2025, they will have all K-Cups be compostable. Another opportunity would be to expand overseas, just like Nestle's Nespresso, and just grow their market to the whole world. Now, moving into an internal analysis on Keurig as the company itself, some of the strengths include the variety of products they offer. Currently, there are 16 different models on the Keurig website, ranging from about $50 all the way up to $250. Now, this allows Keurig to have a model that fits every single price point, and no matter how much the customer is looking to spend, they could always consider Keurig as an option when buying. Second would be the strong free cash flows of the company. What this means is that they have a lot of money on hand, and that if they have a new invention, new technology, or anything they want to implement into a new product, they can pretty much instantaneously without much funding involved, which is very key. Next would be the high customer satisfaction rate. This means a lot of customers are very satisfied with their purchase and their use of the Keurig. So when they're in the market for a new coffee maker, whether there's breaks or just gets old, that they will return to Keurig for a new one, as they're very satisfied with how it's performing. Next would be the increase of return on equity and return on assets the company has over the past 3 years. So for each dollar of assets or equity the company owns, they're actually returning a positive amount, and year over year returning more on each of these, which just speaks to the success that Keurig is having in recent years. And next would be the large-scale distribution. Keurig has a lot of distribution centers and products offered everywhere, that they're able to get their product to a customer pretty much instantaneously if they want. Just makes with people wanting their products instantaneous, makes Keurig a lot better of an option in a lot of people's minds. For the weaknesses of Keurig as a company, first is their dependence on a single manufacturer of K-Cups. When doing some research, we found that there's one manufacturer that produces most of the K-Cups. This puts more power of suppliers, and thus raises the price of a K-Cup, which is passed on to the consumer. That leads to the next one, which is price of K-Cups. One article stated that if an individual were to drink exclusively K-Cup coffee for a year, they would end up paying 5 times more as opposed to someone who drinks solely coffee from a at-home traditional brewing pot. Lastly would be the regulations of K-Cups and their production moving forward. Now, by the year 2025, the government wants K-Cups to be all recyclable and start moving into the biodegradable stage. Now, this has Keurig put a lot of assets into this specific point moving forward, which can take away time from other facets of the company. For the 2 core competencies that we found most important for Keurig is first the ability for the company to offer a wide variety of products that are all high quality at different price points. At first, Keurig was a very exclusive product, but over time they've developed a strategy that they could find themselves in every home in America. Second would be their brand recognition and brand loyalty that they received as being the first mover in the segment, that has pretty much established them as the core name for single pod brewing, and I don't believe Keurig will ever lose that brand recognition and loyalty they have received.
Keurig's SEC filings include a vast amount of information, including what type of products that Keurig Dr. Pepper sells, including carbonated soft drinks, non-cola related, non-carbonated beverages, and what they're most known for, the single-serve coffee. They also include the single-serve brewing systems, which is solely Keurig, doesn't have anything to do with Dr. Pepper. According to the SEC filings, in 2018, Keurig had over 25,000 employees, which 20,000 of those employees were full-time. In Mexico, there are approximately 4,000 employees, and 3,000 of them are covered by collective bargaining agreements. In Mexico, this is where a lot of the coffee is grown, and that's where Keurig gets their supply from. So it's very important that they have a lot of employees down there working to give them the supply, because without the K-Cup coffee, they have no business. Some of the major brands that are under Keurig Dr. Pepper include Green Mountain Coffee, The Original Donut Shop, Van Hout, Dr. Pepper, Canada Dry, 7-Up, A&W, and Crush. In the North American market position for Keurig Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper is number one in its flavor category and number two overall for carbonated soft drinks in the United States. And for the single serve coffee with Green Mountain, The Original Donut Shop, and Van Hout, Green Mountain is the number 2 K-Cup pod in the United States, whereas The Original Donut Shop is number 5, and Van Hout is number 2 in Canada. According to the SEC documentation for Keurig Dr. Pepper, as of the end of 2018, their net sales were $7.4 billion. Their gross profit was $3.8 billion, and their net income was $589 million. Their earnings per share were about 54 cents, and their cash flows included their operating activities of $1.6 billion, their investing activities of $19 billion, and their financing activities of $17.5 billion. To go along with that, at the end of 2018, their total assets were $48.9 billion, and total stockholders' equity was $22.5 billion. Based on the year-to-end date of December 31st from 2017 to 2018, we can see a 31% change in the net income for Keurig Dr. Pepper, with total income or total net income dropping about, like I said, 31% from 847 million to 586 million, and the diluted earnings per share from $1.70 to 53 cents. To go a little further in depth, the net sales of the coffee systems from Keurig in 2018 made about $4.1 billion, and the income from operations for the coffee machines was like $1.1 billion. To continue on, it is important to note that Keurig Dr. Pepper do hold some of the top ranking ready-to-drink options in the US, Canada, and Mexico. Like I said earlier, Dr. Pepper is number one in its flavor category for carbonated drinks, while as in Canada, there are a lot of different types of drinks, including tea and coffee, that are very popular, ranked in the top 3 for the choices among consumers. And then in Mexico and the Caribbean, they even include selling carbonated mineral water, along with bottled water that include vegetable juice categories.
For our strategic challenge, Keurig has many strengths and weaknesses going for them right now, as many other businesses do. A lot of their strengths involve decisions that can be made right now as a business, and most of their weaknesses involve other companies or environmental issues. Some of their strengths are company images built on sustainability initiatives, which is included in their operation supply chain related, which over the time Keurig has built up a name that when you see it on a piece of product, you know that it's going to be a good product. Another piece of their strength is a variety of products are being sold as of right now. They're not just a single serve coffee machine company anymore. They have many different types of coffee machines and coffee cups, which they have patented the K cup, which is another one of their strengths. Another one of their strengths is Keurig can decrease the reliance on the single manufacturer. If they can outsource, like not worry about one manufacturer making their products and have other companies be making their products and at the same level as that one company, they don't have to worry about if that one company files for bankruptcy, shuts down. They can make sure that their products will still be built. So the weaknesses for Keurig is that the safety concerns regarding health and have been raised because of chemicals in the brewing machines. There's always been health speculations with coffee, especially in the brewing process, and especially with these self-serve machines where you don't have to worry about the pouring in the filter. A lot of the health concerns have been raised because there is no filter with the Keurig machines. Another one of the weaknesses is more and more coffee companies are creating single-use machines. They are no longer the top dog in the single-use coffee machine business field. There are other competitors coming at them, and they have to figure out how to diversify themselves from those other companies. The areas that we have selected for Keurig, the weakness, threat, opportunity is the company can branch out into different markets and use their reputation to get them there. This being said, Keurig is a very well-known company with a very high reputation for being very well-known products, and Keurig can use that name to get their new branch off and going, since everyone will expect that product and that new branch to be very high quality. For a weakness opportunity strategy, Keurig can add a line of hard coffee makers and hard coffee pods to fill the gap. Companies all around the world have been going this hard route with like hard cider, hard lemonade, and hard seltzers. There's no one really been going for hard coffee yet, and it is untapped field, and Keurig can really lead the way with this, and I think can dominate this field. Another strategy that we did for weakness opportunities, other companies have created reusable K-cups. Keurig has not. They could create their own to keep people from buying other brands. With the saying earlier, Keurig is a very well-known brand with a high reputation. If they start using reusable K-cups and it has the Keurig name on it, people will flock to that since it is the big name and since it's a very well-trusted name. And one of our last strategies, the strength and threat strategy, Keurig can insource their manufacturing to be able to lower the prices. Since most of Keurig's manufacturing right now is outsourced to other companies, if they move all their manufacturing into the US, they would save so much money because they would save less on shipping, less on manufacturing, and just be able to market it saying it's made in the USA, and more people will flock to it since it's made here and not somewhere else. And the shipping will be immensely because they don't have to ship it overseas. They just have to ship it from the factory to each state. And if they even want to do this, they can put factories in each state to lower it even more.
For the McKinsey 7S model, or also known as the shared values model, like we said in the beginning, the shared values they want to provide a beverage for anyone at any time. Along with this, we think the alcoholic framework would fit in perfectly because there is a completely different market and niche for people who like to consume alcohol. And one of these systems that could brew mixed drinks immediately would be very beneficial with Keurig. For the structure, we think the new positions added to head projects involved with these alcohol sales would fit in great. And this would possibly add a new branch or a subsidiary of Keurig. The systems, the new ways of brewing and creating new products makes for upgrades to the current systems in the new place. this is very important for that. The skills section of the McKinsey model, continuing the ease of use of the current coffee machines, and then it also takes a lot of skill for the coffee to be brewed the way it is, because it's a specific type of coffee. It's not like bagged coffee. The way it's produced and the way it's manufactured is specific for Keurig. And the style, we want a stricter, more ethical practice for the sale of alcohol if they do decide to venture into something along those lines. And then we want to emphasize the recycling of K-cups, because there was a big deal about how K-cups were just ending up in landfills. And we all know how big of a deal the landfills piling up with just random garbage is to our planet. And for the staff, new regulators for the alcoholic beverages, and then managers at the branch who are currently informed on the company are two of the big parts of the staff portion for the McKinsey S model.